Hey, um, I want to talk about hope and change because my fear is that we see, or if you go online and you look around what's happening in the world, you see a lot of, you know, people rebelling against the system, against the powerful, against the structures, against capitalism, blah, 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 all of these things. And yet, I still have this nagging feeling inside, thinking that nothing's going to change. It's not. You know, even though we might come close to change, the reality is that the powers that be will just change and take control of the narrative. And these things that we feel so passionately about right now just kind of fizzles out into nothingness, and we forget about it until next year when we talk about, oh yeah, remember those 2 weeks when there was almost change? And yeah, it never happened. The thing is, I think, from my perspective, is politicians, for example, they all, every time they come into a campaign for election, they run on hope and change, right? They run on, yeah, I've got the answer to everything that you find wrong with the system. So this is how I want to do it. Hope and change, and we fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Well, we, as in you, most people anyway. Sorry, not you, I mean most people. So what ends up happening is, I think, we as individuals, we start to feel that we can't sustain this much longer. That's what it feels like. And then you go online and these feelings are validated, and it might be an echo chamber, but nonetheless, they are validated. And it makes you feel like change is on the horizon. And if we just hang in there a little bit longer, it'll bear fruit. But instinct, like deep down, I'm thinking, there's this feeling that, what if nothing changes? What if, yeah, there's just words, and the powerful will eventually, inevitably take control of the narrative, and, these topics that we have so much passion for and rebel against the system about, just kind of fizzle out into nothingness because of the narrative that they've conjured up. And they've made us feel like we got what we wanted, but reality is no, they just won again. So that's my concern. It's concerning to think about it like that, Like, I don't want to, amen. I don't want to continue with the system, even though I've got my own restaurant. I still don't think that this is the way it's supposed to be. But I have to play the game in order to survive in the system. So that's what I'm doing. If I don't have to do this, I won't do this. But I have to do this. It's this, or it's, choose your heart. Being poor is hard. Not that I'm rich, trust me. But, either way, it's going to be hard. Doing something or doing nothing is hard either way. So I'm playing the game, but I'm hoping that maybe we can play a different game. Maybe we don't have to play this game. And the thing is that USA, it's by far the strongest Western culture online anyway. So their philosophies trickle down to other countries. And what happens is, I forgot the source. All of a sudden, hustle culture and grinding yourself into oblivion is wanted. It's honorable. And because the alternative is you become a lazy couch potato. But there's so much, there's a whole different way of living outside of that paradigm, and I want that. But because it's such a strong culture online, it's difficult to to change it, because there's always bickering between every side. Everybody's got a better idea, including me. So, from where I'm standing, is I hope that of all of these, sorry if I'm fogging up the camera here, from all of these chances, all of these things that are going on around the world, you look at what's happening in England, in the UK, you look at what's happening all over Europe, basically, in the United States to a degree. I'm hoping that something takes root and makes change and shows other people that change is possible around the world, so that we can do it ourselves. And I hope, then you have to consider what AI, the introduction of true superintelligence to this paradigm, what that will do. That's also something that I'm holding out hope for. I think that there's a possibility of change in that way, for good or for bad. And then, as long as I have options, as long as I can choose that, okay, I want change, but this is the way, I want to live my life with inside that new paradigm, which I think is what we will all need, is choice in the end. It's very important. Anyway, so that's just my thing. I'm hoping that change does happen and that we don't just lose momentum. And who knows what lies ahead in the next 10 years with this artificial intelligence thing. So, at the end of the day, to anybody listening out there, is this the way you want to live your life? Remember, it's not just us. There's so many countries out there that are not as structured as us. Anyway, so to anybody out there listening, is this really the way you want to spend your 75 years of existence and then just go into nothingness? I feel like there's more. There's got to be more. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Ciao. Bye-bye.